The mission room was cold, filled with tension and the sound of heavy boots on the concrete floor. Soldiers lined up around the briefing table, eyes focused, faces serious. Maps of the border, aerial drone images, and red target marks glowed on the giant screen behind the commander. This was supposed to be a routine classified briefing for Operation Silent Hawk. Nothing unusual, nothing personal, but nothing could prepare them for what happened next. Lieutenant James Carter stood tall, scanning the room. He was known for his calm presence and unmatched loyalty. The only time he ever blinked during a briefing was when someone messed up. Today, no one had, at least not until she walked in. Late by just 2 minutes, the new recruit entered the room silently. She was young, maybe 22, with a sharp jawline, olive skin, and calm brown eyes that seemed to carry a storm behind them. Her name tag read Mia, R, no last name, just R. Some assumed it was short for Ramirez or Rowan. No one asked. James paused, eyes locking on her. She stood beside the others without making a sound. Her uniform looked a little loose, like it didn't quite belong to her yet. She wasn't nervous, but she wasn't fully relaxed either. As I was saying, James continued, voice steady. Our target is not a place, it's a person, and that person has no face in any database. But we have traces. He pressed a button, and an image of a faded symbol appeared, a circular mark with sharp edges, like a gear combined with wings. The room fell silent. We've been tracking this symbol for years. It appears in destroyed villages, burned documents, and encrypted messages. It means something. Something big. Mia's eyes moved slightly. That symbol. She'd seen it before. In a dream. In a nightmare. She wasn't sure. Her heart began to race. As the briefing continued, the room grew warmer. One of the heaters had been left on too long. Mia slowly took off her jacket, revealing the black t-shirt underneath. As she did, her right arm became visible. A ripple passed through the room. It wasn't the scar on her elbow that made James freeze. It wasn't even the bruises from training. It was the tattoo. A faint, inked circle on the inside of her forearm, the exact same symbol that was on the screen. James stopped talking mid-sentence. His hands trembled. The room filled with the sharpest minds and bravest soldiers went completely silent. Where did you get that? He asked, stepping forward slowly. Mia looked confused. She glanced at her tattoo. I've always had it, since before I could remember. I think it was on me when I was adopted. Whispers began to spread across the room. One soldier leaned toward another. Is she joking? Adopted. That word hit James hard. His mind went back 15 years to a fire, a hidden base, a team that never returned, and a child that vanished without a trace. It couldn't be her, could it? Mia, James said carefully. You said you were adopted. From where? I don't know, she replied. I was found in a refugee camp after a battle. They said my village was gone. No records. I was 5. The projector behind James flickered. He turned and pressed a code into the panel. The screen switched from maps to a locked archive. Everyone watched in silence. He entered another code. The screen displayed a file titled, Project Echo, terminated. All witnesses eliminated. Gasps filled the room. James didn't say a word. He opened the file. A video clip began to play. A young girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old, running barefoot through smoke. Her arms were dirty. She looked terrified. A man behind her shouted something, but the sound was corrupted. And then, there it was, the same tattoo, clear on her small arm as she ran toward the camera. Mia stepped back, breathing fast. That's me. James couldn't speak. His hands gripped the table like it was the only thing holding him upright. Another soldier, Corporal Lena, stepped forward. Sir, what is Project Echo? James looked at her, but his voice was broken. It was a black operation. It wasn't supposed to exist. A program to engineer children to survive warfare, survive anything. Only a few prototypes made it, and they were destroyed when the lab was burned, or so we thought. The room fell into stunned silence. Mia shook her head. I don't understand. I'm just a soldier. I signed up like everyone else. No, James said slowly. You were never supposed to be here. You weren't supposed to be alive. Mia sat down, her knees weak. The world around her spun. Memories started flashing. Loud screams. A fire. Cold metal walls. A voice saying, she's not ready yet. Who are my real parents? She whispered. James stared at her with haunted eyes. That's classified, and if we unlock it, it could end more than just your mission. Outside, the wind howled. Thunder rolled in the distance. Lena broke the silence. Commander, what do we do now? James didn't answer. His hands hovered over the console. If he pressed one button, he could bury the truth forever. If he pressed the other, he could unlock files that had been buried for national security. The entire team stared at him, some with fear, some with curiosity, some with suspicion. Mia looked up. I deserve to know. If I'm a danger, I need to understand why. James took a deep breath. This mission was about tracking a target, but it looks like the target has been among us all along. He pressed the second button. The screen changed. Multiple photos appeared. Children with numbers instead of names. Scientists in lab coats. Weapons built for small hands. DNA sequences scrolling endlessly. Mia stared at the photos. her eyes welling with tears. There she was, age 3, with wires on her head, her hand in the grip of a woman whose face was blurred. This can't be real, she whispered. Lena stepped back, whispering to another soldier, she's Echo 7. One by one, the rest of the team began realizing it too. She was one of them. She survived. They'll come for her. Mia stood up slowly. If this is true, then someone out there knows. Someone who created this knows everything. James nodded. And if they know you're alive, they'll stop at nothing to finish what they started. Suddenly, the base lights flickered. Then a deep alarm rang once, just once, not the full alert, just a warning. The tech officer rushed in. Sir, we just had a ping. An encrypted signal from somewhere inside the base. It's targeting her file. Mia's heart stopped. They know I'm here. James turned to the rest of the team. This briefing is over. Lock down the facility. Secure Mia, nobody leaves. And nobody breathes a word of this. The team rushed into action. Alarms began to echo. Steel doors shut down automatically. The screen went dark. James looked at Mia. This mission just became personal. And if they're coming for you, then we better find out who you really are before they do. Mia stared at the symbol on her arm. For the first time in her life, it felt like a curse. Far away, in a dark room across the ocean, a red light blinked on a satellite system. A man in a suit watched the feed. She's alive, he muttered. Activate protocol, Phoenix. Begin the sweep. And with that, the world that Mia knew, whatever was left of it, would never be the same again. Mia sat alone in the interrogation room, not because she was under arrest, but because no one knew what else to do with her. The room was cold, but not colder than the silence in her mind. The screen on the wall was off. The mirror on the left side reflected her tired face. Her arms were crossed over her chest, hiding the tattoo that had changed everything just hours ago. That one small mark, something she had never questioned before, had brought her entire life into question. Outside the room, Commander James Carter stood in the hallway, speaking to two senior officers from the Pentagon who had flown in within hours. Their badges showed no names, just clearance levels. Their voices were low and sharp. James didn't trust them, not even a little. She's not a threat, James said quietly. She's confused, but she's not hostile. You don't know what she is. One of them replied coldly. She's a prototype from a terminated experiment. That alone is a risk. She's a person, James said, his voice rising, not a weapon. The other officer spoke. You saw the data. Echo 7 was built to survive high-impact trauma, resistance to mind control, and was implanted with trace memory barriers. That kind of tech doesn't just vanish. If someone activates her, James cut him off. She's not activated. She's human. She's scared. And until yesterday, she didn't even know she was part of some project. The men exchanged a glance. One of them handed James a flash drive. This contains the remaining files. It's your responsibility now. But know this: if she shows any sign of aggression, if her memories start to unlock the way the reports warned, we will neutralize the asset. No questions asked. James took the drive, jaw clenched. As they walked away, he watched them until they turned the corner. Then he slipped the drive into his pocket and walked back toward the room. Inside, Mia hadn't moved. She looked up when he entered, her eyes dull but alert. You okay? He asked. She nodded slowly. I don't know. James sat down across from her. He didn't bring any files, just himself. Do you remember anything new? He asked. She hesitated. Flashes. Nothing clear. I see wires, a white room, a woman singing, then fire. I don't know what's real. James leaned forward. That's more than we had before. That woman? She might have been one of the scientists. Or maybe your mother. Mia frowned. You think one of them was my mother? He nodded. Possibly. There were rumors that the lead biologist hid her own daughter in the program. Everyone thought the child died when the facility burned. Maybe they were wrong. Mia looked down at her hands. Do you think I'm dangerous? James paused. I think you're scared and confused. That doesn't make you dangerous. It makes you human. She tried to smile, but her lips wouldn't obey. Then why do I feel like there's something inside me? Like a door I don't want to open. James reached into his jacket and pulled out the flash drive. There's more. I haven't shown you everything, but if we open this, we can't. Go back. It might tell us who you were, what they did to you. But it could also trigger something. Mia looked at the drive. Her heart pounded. Part of her wanted to throw it across the room. Another part needed to know. Do it, she whispered. I have to know. James nodded and left the room to plug the drive into a secure laptop. He didn't want the central servers to see this. Meanwhile, down in the base's surveillance center, Corporal Lena was going through old footage. She had a suspicion, something no one else had noticed. As she watched the feeds, she paused on a moment from earlier that morning. A technician had touched the screen right after Mia revealed her tattoo. Just a second of hesitation, but enough to catch Lena's eye. She zoomed in. His ID badge showed, Eric D. Systems. She frowned. Eric wasn't supposed to be in that room. Quickly, she ran a trace on his access. Her screen flashed red. Unauthorized. Attempt. File. Hecho CVN-0 las 9:44 Juárez Show Blood Ran Cold. Someone had tried to breach Mia's file from inside. She grabbed her radio. "Commander Carter, we have a problem. I think we've been compromised." James' voice came back. "What kind of problem?" "Internal breach. Someone tried to access Echo's file this morning. A technician named Eric Davis." James stood up straight. "Where is he now?" Lena checked the logs. "He left the base 20 minutes ago. Said he had a family emergency." James muttered a curse. "Lock all gates. Full internal lockdown. He's not a technician. He's the enemy." Meanwhile, Mia stared at the screen in front of her. The flash drive had loaded. It displayed one folder, Echo-7/core. She clicked it open. There were video files, research notes, audio recordings. She clicked on one labeled First Memory Test. Subject 7. The video showed her younger self, maybe 5 years old, sitting in a chair with a headset on. A voice asked her to repeat phrases in multiple languages. She answered perfectly, switching between English, Russian, Arabic, and a language she didn't even recognize. Then the voice said, "What's your name?" The little girl paused, then answered, "I don't have one, just 7. Mia covered her mouth, her eyes wide. James watched her. "It's real." Another video played automatically. This one showed a woman holding her, rocking her gently in a metal room. "Sleep, little Echo." The woman whispered, "You're going to save the world someday." Mia froze. That voice, that's her. That's the one I remember. James leaned in. "We need to find her. If she's alive, she's the key." Suddenly, the screen glitched. A warning flashed. "Remote access DITICTI." James yanked the plug. "We've been hacked. Someone's watching us." Back in the surveillance room, Lena's screen also glitched. Multiple systems were being overridden. External cameras, disabled, doors unlocking one by one. A warning siren blared all units. "Report to defensive stations." "This is not a drill." James grabbed Mia's arm. "We have to move now." She ran with him through the hallway as soldiers mobilized, weapons drawn. Red lights flashed everywhere. Lena met them near the exit. He sent a signal before he left. "We think a small unit is already inbound." 10 minutes out, James turned to Mia. "They're coming for you. They don't want you exposed. We need to get you off this base." "But where?" Mia asked. Out of breath, James hesitated, then said, "There's a safe house up north off-grid. Only a few people know about it." Mia nodded. "Let's go." As they reached the exit tunnel, they saw a black vehicle parked awkwardly near the gate. James raised his weapon. "Who is that?" Then a voice came from behind the car. "I can help her," the woman said. She stepped forward slowly, pale, thin, wearing civilian clothes. Mia gasped. "It's her." James narrowed his eyes. "Who are you?" The woman held up a file. "Dr. Elisa Ray. I created her." Mia took a step forward, then stopped. "My mother?" Elisa's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, but I wasn't supposed to be. I tried to save you. They told me you died," Lena whispered. "How did she get here?" James didn't care. "Get in the car, all of you. We talk later, we move now." As they sped off into the night, gunfire erupted behind them. Black helicopters circled the base. Inside the car, Mia sat beside the woman who claimed to be her mother. Her fingers trembled. Her heart ached. "Why did you make me?" she asked. Elisa looked at her with pain in her eyes. "Because I believed I could protect you, but I was wrong. And now they'll do anything to erase you." Mia looked at her tattoo. "What's the symbol?" "It's not a weapon, Mark," Elisa said. "It was a promise. A seal that you'd never be used." Mia looked outside at the stars. "Then why do I feel like I've already been used for something I can't remember?" The car continued into the darkness, leaving behind smoke, danger, and 100 unanswered questions. Far away, the man in the suit watched the satellite feed. "Subject Echo-7 has left the base," he said into his headset. "Initiate phase 2. Do not let them reach the safe house." And just like that, Mia's fight to reclaim her past had only just begun. The road was dark and empty as their car moved through the forest highway. Trees lined both sides like silent watchers, and the only light came from the weak glow of the moon and the headlights cutting through the mist. Mia sat in the back seat, her hands pressed together, the faint pulse of fear in her fingertips. Next to her, Dr. Eliza Wraith, a woman who claimed to be her mother, sat silently, eyes locked on the road ahead. James drove with one hand on the wheel and the other near his gun, eyes checking every mirror, every sound, every shadow. No one said anything for several minutes. The silence was loud, filled with questions no one knew how to ask. Finally, Mia broke it. "You knew who I was the moment you saw me, didn't you?" Eliza nodded slowly. "I recognized the scar near your eye. You had it when you were 3. I gave you that tattoo the day I tried to get you out." James glanced in. "The mirror. You tattooed your own child." Elisa turned toward him, her face pale. "I had no choice. That mark was the only way I could ensure the rebels wouldn't kill her. That symbol. It told them she was property of the higher order, untouchable, a weapon in development." Mia's stomach turned. "So you marked me like I was government equipment?" Elisa's voice broke. "No, I marked you to protect you from monsters. But maybe I became one too." The car drove on. Every mile closer to the safe house felt like a war inside Mia's head. So many flashes were returning now. Not full memories, just pieces. Cold rooms, wires, a man with black gloves, screaming, and always fire. They said you were dead, she said quietly. I thought I didn't have anyone. I thought I was just no one. Eliza reached for her hand. Mia didn't pull away. I was told you died too, Eliza whispered. They showed me a burned body and told me it was you. I tried to kill myself that day, but they stopped me. They said I still had work to do. James spoke again. What kind of work? Elisa looked out the window. The kind that makes you forget you're human. After Eco 7 was lost, they gave up on children. Moved on to cybernetic weapons, drones, AI, but they never stopped looking for her. Not because they wanted her back, but because they feared what she remembered. Mia looked at her. What do I remember? Eliza hesitated. That we tried to shut it all down. That your father, my husband, was going to expose everything. That you were the proof. James gripped the wheel tighter. And now they'll do anything to stop her from speaking. Suddenly, lights appeared behind them. Headlights. Just one vehicle. Then another. Mia turned. We're being followed. James pressed the pedal harder. Hang on. The tires roared against the pavement. The car flew around a sharp bend. Mia braced herself against the door. How far to the safe house? 7 miles, James said. Through the woods? Elisa leaned forward. Take the trail near Clearwater Creek. It leads through the abandoned ranger station. They won't follow their... James turned off the main road sharply. The car bounced over rocks and dirt, headlights shaking. The vehicles behind followed. For a moment, then slowed. Mia looked back. They stopped. James nodded. Too narrow for them. We've bought some time. As the road grew darker, Mia finally asked, Who was my father? Elisa didn't speak for a moment. Then, quietly, she said, Dr. Isaac Ray, geneticist, whistleblower, and the bravest man I ever knew. Where is he? Mia asked. Dead, Elisa said. They made it look like an accident, but I saw the files. They killed him after he sent out a warning. A warning to who? James asked. Elisa turned toward him. To anyone who'd listen. He coded it into a voice file and embedded it in a child's lullaby. We think Mia heard it before the fire. Mia closed her eyes. The melody, it was there. Somewhere deep in her head. Sleep, little echo, stars overhead, she whispered. Rest now. You're stronger than the war ahead. Elisa stared. That's it. That's the one. Your father wrote that for you. The full version has a code hidden inside, a shutdown protocol. For the program, you mean? I could stop this, Mia asked. If we can recover the full message, yes, Eliza said. But it was never completed. The last verse was lost. And now, only you might remember it. They reached the ranger station, a broken building covered in vines and old wood. James parked. Behind it, hidden from the road, they entered quietly. Inside it was dusty, but intact. A fireplace, a long table, old cabinets, and in the far corner, ATRAPDOOR. James opened it. This leads to a bunker, used during the Cold War, still off the grid. They descended into the hidden room, metal walls, old generators, and emergency supplies. A cot in the corner, an old terminal, safe for now. Mia sat on the edge of the cot, the tattoo on her arm feeling warmer than usual, almost like it was reacting. James checked the perimeter. Elisa powered up the terminal. Mia stared at her reflection in the metal wall. Who am I? Do you want the truth? Elisa asked gently. Mia didn't answer. Elisa continued. You were born during a war, not just outside, but inside the system. Isaac and I joined the government project thinking we'd help stop suffering. Instead, they asked us to create it. We engineered children to survive anything. Pain, fear, loss. But your father added something they didn't expect. Conscience. You were more than a survivor. You had empathy. You remembered every kindness. That's why they feared you. You weren't just you were their mistake. Tears rolled down Mia's face. Then why didn't you run? We tried, Eliza whispered, but we ran out of time. James returned from his sweep. We have 1 hour before the next drone pass. After that, they'll track any heat signatures. Elisa nodded. Then we need to start unlocking her memory. Now Mia agreed. They connected the terminal to a small headset. It used neural trigger sounds, sense, images to unlock blocked memories. Will it hurt? She asked. Eliza hesitated. Only if you fight it. Mia breathed in. Let's do it. As the headset powered on, images began flashing on the screen. Old rooms, lab equipment, a boy crying, a voice yelling, shut it down, then a man's face, gentle, smiling. You're safe with me, echo. Her heart skipped. That's him, my father. The screen glitched. A message appeared. Encrypted memory found. Partial verse located. The system played the audio. A soft voice sang, Little one, you are the light in the place they hide from sight. If they find you, run from pain but never let them steal your name. Then, the file cut off. Mia gasped. Her head hurt, but her mind felt clearer. James wrote down the verse. That's part of the shutdown key. Yes, Eliza confirmed. But we still need the last line. Without it, it's incomplete. Where is it? Mia asked. Elisa looked into her eyes. Maybe still inside you, or maybe someone else knows. Suddenly, the room's emergency light flashed red. James pulled his weapon. They found us. Above them, faint footsteps. On the forest floor, then silence. Stay down, he ordered. A loud bang. The trapdoor exploded open. Gas canisters dropped inside. James fired. 1 hit, 2 down. But they kept coming. Eliza pulled Mia into the corner. There's a tunnel behind the cabinet. Go. James covered them as they ran through the narrow passage. Dirt walls, wooden beams, old lights flickering. Mia heard footsteps behind them. They're in the tunnel. James turned and fired again, but a bullet grazed his shoulder. He winced but kept running. The tunnel ended in a dried-up well. James boosted Mia out first, then Eliza. Then he climbed out, barely making it as bullets struck the stone. They ran again, into the woods. Barely breathing, behind them, voices shouted. But they didn't stop as they disappeared into the night. Mia whispered the verse over and over, trying to remember the end. Trying to find the key that might stop everything. Far away, in a room filled with screens, the man in the suit stared at the footage. She remembers too much, he said. Prepare the extraction team. If we can't silence her, we'll control her. He pressed a button. A new protocol appeared. Eco 7. Reactivation in process. The forest was cold and quiet, but every sound felt louder to Mia now. The crunch of dry leaves under their boots, the howl of distant wind, the echo of her own breath. Her heart pounded like a drum in her chest. Her legs were sore. Her shoulders burned where she'd hit a rock during the escape. But she didn't stop. None of them did. Not even when her lungs begged her to. Not when the sky began turning gray with morning light. They didn't stop until they were miles from the trapdoor, far from the bunker that had once been called safe. James finally slowed, lifting one hand. They crouched behind a fallen tree. I think we lost them, he said, scanning the woods. Through his scope, no movement, no heat signatures. Mia sat down heavily, wiping sweat from her face with trembling hands. I thought we were done back there. We were close, James said, eyes still moving. Too close? Dr. Eliza leaned against the tree, exhausted. Her face was pale, and her breath shallow. That wasn't a search party. That was an execution squad. They weren't trying to capture us. They came to erase us. James nodded grimly. They failed, but they'll try again. Mia closed her eyes. Her body hurt, but something else bothered her more. Her head felt strange, like something inside her had woken up. Not just memories, something more. Something dangerous. Elisa, she whispered. Something's wrong with me. The older woman moved closer. What is it? When the gas filled the bunker, I should have passed out. But I didn't. My skin, it burned like my body was fighting it. And after that, I felt faster, stronger. I could hear things. Is that normal? Elisa looked at James, then back. At Mia? It's starting, she said quietly. Your enhancements. They're waking up. I thought the program failed, Mia said. It didn't fail, Eliza replied. It was frozen, buried. Your mind locked those parts away. But now that your memory is coming back, your body is responding. James shook his head. We need to contain this. If she starts losing control, I'm not going to lose control, Mia said sharply. I'm still me. Maybe, James said. But for how long? A silence fell over them. Elisa broke it gently. We need to keep moving. There's a contact I haven't seen in years. Someone who used to help smuggle survivors out during the purge. If he's alive, he can hide us for a while. James nodded. We're about 30 kilometers east, near the base of the old power dam. Mia stood slowly. Her body still ached, but she felt stronger somehow, like she could run for days, if she had to. She looked at her reflection in a puddle nearby. Her eyes, they were darker now, not in color, in depth. She looked older, like someone who had lived through something they weren't meant to survive. They walked for hours, avoiding all roads. They crossed rivers, climbed rocks, and hid under trees when drones passed overhead. Each time Mia felt her pulse react to danger before anyone else. She could hear the humming of drones long before they appeared. James noticed it too. You're sensing them, he said. Like instinct, Mia nodded. It's like I feel the signals. That's neural mapping, Eliza explained. Your brain is tuning to frequencies. Another gift from the program? Or a curse, Mia said. They reached the dam by late afternoon. It stood like a giant metal ghost half destroyed, covered in vines, with old floodgates hanging open, like rusted jaws. Elisa led them through a broken pipe, down into a tunnel that smelled like oil and dust. At the end was a locked iron door. She knocked once, then twice fast, then 3 more times. A few seconds passed, then the door creaked open. A man appeared, gray beard, one eye blind, the other sharp as a knife. Elisa, he said. I thought you were dead. You're not the only one, she said. He let them inside. The room was small and filled with tools, wires, and old tech. He looked at Mia. This her? Elisa nodded. This is Echo 7. The man exhaled slowly. My name's Marcus. I helped build the first signal blockers that hid her when she was smuggled out. I thought it worked, until the day the satellite feed showed the fire. We need a place to rest, James said, and we need information. Fast. Marcus nodded. You're safe here, for now. They stayed underground for the night. Mia didn't sleep. Her dreams were sharp and strange. She saw more memories now. A boy in a white uniform, crying in a corner. A voice yelling, "Bring Subject 9 back to the chamber." And her younger self, trying to hold his hand. "Don't be scared," she had said. "We're going to get out." She woke up gasping. Elisa sat beside her. "You remember him?" "There was another one," Mia whispered. "A boy. Number 9. Elisa closed her eyes. "His name was Cade. He was the only other child we believed could be saved. Isaac tried to smuggle him out the same night as you. But we never found him." "He's still alive," Mia said. "I feel it." James entered the room. "Then maybe he's the one they're using now." Mia stood up. "Using? If he's still alive, and still enhanced, then they'd use him as a weapon. Someone they could trigger in case you ever returned." Marcus walked in behind James. "He's right. There's a new protocol I intercepted yesterday. They call it the Mirror, a program designed to copy you but darker, meaner, broken." Mia's face went pale. "They made him into me." James placed a file on the table. "Intel says a facility exists in the mountains off-grid, under a mining operation. That's where they've been moving assets. If he's alive, he's there." Mia looked at her arm. The tattoo almost burned now. "I have to go," she said. "No," James said. "We need to regroup." "Wait, think. They don't want." "Me too. Remember," she said. "That means remembering is the only way to stop them. And if Cade is in that facility, I have to reach him before they send him after me." Elisa looked torn. "We don't even know if he'll recognize you." "I don't need him to recognize me," Mia said. "I just need him to remember who he used to be." James didn't like it, but he saw the fire in her eyes. She wasn't the scared recruit from a week ago. She was becoming something else, something stronger. "We go at dawn," he said. Far away, in a dark underground chamber, Cade sat in silence. His eyes were cold, his body still. Around him, scientists watched from behind glass. "He hasn't spoken in days." One said, "He's waiting." Another replied, "He senses her awakening. Soon they'll reconnect." A man in a military coat stepped forward. "Begin conditioning. Load the trigger word." A voice entered Cade's ear, soft, robotic. "Eco 7 is alive. Mission neutralized." His eyes flashed, and for the first time in years, he whispered, "Mia." The helicopter blades cut through the cold night air as the team flew low over the forest. No one spoke. Mia sat beside Commander Rafe, her fingers clenched tightly in her lap. In her other hand was the photograph she had found, the one of her as a toddler, in the arms of a woman with the same tattoo. A woman no one had mentioned, a woman the files had marked as missing. Mia didn't know what to feel. For years she had believed her mother was dead. Then she thought she never had one. Now here she was, flying into enemy territory because someone believed the woman in that picture was still alive. Commander Rafe had broken protocol to launch this rescue. He hadn't told HQ. "If HQ finds out," whispered Harper, the team's tech specialist, "we're all going to prison. Let's just make it worth it," Rafe said. Mia turned to him. "Why would they hide her? If she's my mother, why didn't they tell me?" Rafe's face was unreadable. "Because she wasn't supposed to survive. And neither were you." The team landed outside an unmarked compound half buried in the earth, with barbed wire fencing and floodlights circling the perimeter. It wasn't on any map. "Facility 0, Rafe muttered. "They say it doesn't exist." "Then how do you know it's here?" Mia asked. Rafe looked at her. "Because I helped build it." That was the first time Mia saw doubt in his eyes. He hadn't always been the good guy. He had been part of something once, something dark. They moved in teams of 2, dressed in black, voices low over coms. Harper looped the cameras, Bishop took out the exterior guards, and Mia followed Rafe through a tunnel entrance under the west wall. The deeper they went, the colder it got. Concrete walls, no windows, lights flickering overhead. Mia could hear distant echoes, metal clinking, water dripping, the hum of machines still working. Then a voice, faint, human, "Help." Rafe froze. "It's her," Mia whispered. The voice came again. Weak. "They're coming. Please." They found her in a cell with no number. Her face was older, pale, with scars along her arms and lips that trembled even in silence. But Mia recognized her, her eyes the tattoo. "Her mother?" "Mom," Mia said, barely breathing. The woman looked up, confused, afraid. "Mia," she whispered, "is that really you?" Mia ran to her. She dropped to her knees and touched her mother's face. She was real, flesh and bone. Rafe stepped forward. "We don't have much time." But the woman grabbed his arm. "No, you don't understand. If she's here, then they'll know." "Who will?" Rafe asked. The woman's eyes darkened. "The ones who started Project Echo. The ones who want her back." Before Rafe could respond, alarms blared through the corridor. Red lights flashed. Metal doors slammed shut. "They know," the woman whispered. "They've been watching. They never stopped." Mia helped her mother to her feet. The woman was weak, but her will was unbroken. "Why did they keep you here?" Mia asked as they ran. "Why didn't they kill you?" Her mother shook her head. "Because I knew the activation sequence. They needed me alive. Until they didn't." "Activation of what you—" The team regrouped at the tunnel exit. Harper was limping, bleeding from the side. Bishop carried him with one arm while shooting with the other. We're compromised, he shouted. We need extraction. Now. Rafe turned to Mia's mother. We're not leaving without answers. What is she? What did they do to her? The woman coughed, pain in every breath. They made her, not born, engineered. I carried her, but they wrote her DNA, built it to bind with a neural code. She's the key. To what? A global weapon? One that only obeys her signal. They embedded the control in her brain so deep, even she doesn't know it's there. Mia looked at them in horror. What does it do? Anything, her mother said. It can shut down satellites, control drones, disable weapons, start wars, and you let them do that to me, Mia said, shaking. I tried to stop it, her mother cried. I escaped with you. That's how you got the tattoo. It's the only thing I had to mark you so I could find you again. The doors behind them blasted open. Armed men in black rushed in, bullets flying. Rafe fired back. Go, get out of here. No, Mia shouted. We all leave together. Her mother pulled something from her Pokita small metal capsule. If they catch you, she said, shoving it into Mia's hands. Use this. What is it? The last backup of your memory files. The ones they erased. Rafe pulled Mia back. Move. They're everywhere. The team rushed toward the extraction point, ducking behind cover. Fire flashing around them. Smoke screams, explosions. Mia clung to her mother, feeling her breath grow fainter. Hold on, Mom. Don't forget who you are, her mother whispered. You're not their weapon. You're more. They burst through the outer gate, the helicopter waiting. Rafe hauled Mia's mother up first, then Mia. Bishop helped Harper climb in with his good arm, bleeding badly. As the helicopter rose into the sky, Mia looked down. The compound burned. Men scattered. But one figure stood still watching them. Escape. It was the man from the file. The one listed as dead. The one standing next to her in that photo. Her father. That's him, Mia said, her voice breaking. He's alive. Rafe stared at her. Then this isn't over. As the helicopter flew into the night, Mia clutched the capsule in her fist. Her mother lay unconscious beside her. And somewhere below, her father, her real father, was waiting. The silence inside the aircraft was heavy, the kind of silence that comes before the world changes. And deep in Mia's mind, something clicked. A flash, a memory, a code, and a voice. Eco 7, awaiting command. Rain poured down as the helicopter descended into a hidden base deep in the Scottish Highlands. The wind howled against the blades, but no one inside spoke. Mia sat with her eyes closed, the metal capsule still clenched in her fist. Her mother lay beside her, unconscious, her breathing shallow but steady. Commander Rafe's eyes were locked on the horizon, scanning the tree line, as though danger might emerge at any moment. As soon as we land, she needs medical attention, he said. And Mia, that capsule, whatever's in it, don't open it alone. Mia nodded, but inside her mind was spinning. Her mother was alive. Her father, presumed dead, was not only alive but watching them escape. And now, she knew the truth. She wasn't born like other children. She was built engineered for something beyond comprehension, something dangerous, something global. Harper, though badly injured, looked over from the other side. That capsule could contain memory files, triggers, deep code programming, anything they embedded in you before you were even aware. Then I want to know, Mia said firmly. I need to remember what they took from me. As the chopper touched down, medics rushed in. They wheeled Mia's mother away, attaching IVs, oxygen, whispering worried terms that meant little to Mia. She wanted to go with her, but Rafe stopped her. Come with me, he said. There's something else you need to see. He led her underground through a secure wing of the base. Doors opened with facial scans, fingerprint codes, retina locks. They stopped outside a vault labeled Echo Contingency Archives. Rafe turned to her. You're not the only one. What? There were more, he said. Other children. Other prototypes. You were Eco 7. There were 6 before you. All of them failed. What happened to them? They either died in early trials or turned violent. Their minds rejected the implant. You're the only one who integrated fully. So I'm a success story, Mia said bitterly. Rafe looked her dead in the eye. You're the reason. The program was shut down, because you became too powerful to control. Inside the vault were files, rows and rows of case reports, footage, DNA logs. Mia walked slowly between them, her eyes catching glimpses of children with blank stares, wired to machines, some screaming, some silent. They were trying to create a human interface for their weapon systems, Rafe explained. No buttons, no remotes, just thought, emotion, neural signals. The ultimate soldier. Mia opened one file. A girl named Echo 4, age 9, killed during a synapse overload test. Another, Eco 6, age 12, terminated after initiating a drone strike during sleep. Mia dropped the file. This is sick. You were their hope, Rafe said, until your mother ran with you. After that, the program was buried. Everyone involved either vanished or went into hiding, including your father. Why would he stay behind? Mia asked. He believed in it, Rafe said coldly. He thought what they were building was the future. Your mother disagreed. That's why they became enemies. Mia stared at the files again. And now he's trying to finish what they started. With or without you. Just then, Harper's voice crackled over the comms. She's awake. Mia's mom is asking for her. Mia ran through the corridors to the med bay. Her mother was sitting up, pale but conscious. Electrodes still monitored her vitals. Mia, she whispered, reaching out. There's so little time. Don't say that, you're safe now. Her mother shook her head. No one's safe, they'll come for you. He'll come for you. Why now? Because you're waking up. Your mind is unlocking on its own. The sequence? It started. Mia pulled the capsule from her pocket. What's in this? Her mother hesitated. Your last uncorrupted memory, the day I took you. The truth? They didn't. Want you to keep? Mia looked at the machine beside the bed. Can I use this to access it? Her mother nodded weakly. Rafe entered just as Mia connected the capsule to the neural reader. Mia, wait, but it was too late. The machine activated. Lights flickered. A sharp pulse hit Mia's temples. Then blackness. And then memory. She was 4, sitting on a white floor, wires in her arms. Men in suits watching from behind glass. Her father leaning down, whispering to her. You're going to change the world, my little Echo. Then a bright light screams. A woman's voice, her mother's crying. Then gunfire, and running. She was being carried through fire. Doors exploding. Sirens. Then, a metal door slamming shut. Silence. Mia gasped and disconnected. Her hands trembled. I saw it. All of it. Rafe looked pale. What did you see? My father didn't just support the program, she said. He led it, he built the implant, and he activated it. He knew what I would become. Harper entered, still bandaged, holding a tablet. We've got bigger problems. Satellite scans show activity near Facility 0. A convoy, armored, headed north. He's moving, Rafe said grimly. He's not hiding anymore. Where's he going? Mia asked. Harper turned the tablet to her. Here, he's coming for you. Rafe straightened. Then we prepare, we fight. But Mia shook her head. No, I go to him. Everyone looked at her in shock. That's suicide, Harper said. Not if I control the code, Mia replied. I was built to obey, but now I remember, and I choose to confront him on my terms. Her mother struggled to sit up. You can't do this alone. I'm not alone, Mia said. But this ends with me. Rafe stepped forward. If we're doing this, we do it smart. We draw him in. Control the battlefield. And if he controls me again, Mia asked. Then we lose everything. He won't, her mother whispered. You're stronger than the system. I know it. Harper loaded coordinates, then we set the trap. But Mia, once we begin, there's no going back. Mia nodded. Her heart beat like thunder in her chest. The girl with the tattoo, the daughter of the enemy, the last Echo. And now, she was going to face the man who created her not as a weapon, but as herself. And somewhere inside, she could still hear. itthevoice.com/coldeco7. Command protocol engaged. Awaiting orders. But this time, she would be the one giving them. The cave was cold, dark, and wet. Echoes of water dripping from somewhere far off made the silence even heavier. Mia sat close to her mother, her knees pulled to her chest, trying to make sense of everything. She couldn't stop staring at the woman who called herself her mother, the same eyes, the same tattoo, but how could it be? After years of being told she was adopted from a war-torn village, suddenly this woman appears saying Mia was never meant to be found. The rest of the team stood around them, nervous, weapons still in hand. No one trusted anything anymore. Sergeant Torres kept pacing. We shouldn't be here this long. If they tracked us here, we're done. Commander Hayes stayed silent, watching Mia, his face unreadable. Finally, Mia broke the silence. Tell me everything, all of it. Don't leave anything out. The woman smiled softly, despite the pain in her eyes. Your name was never Mia. You were born as Alara Vex. You were part of something dangerous, something big. Mia shook her head. What do you mean? The woman, her mother, said 15 years ago, during the final stages of the uprising, we developed a project. It was a coda-biological signature that could unlock or shut down the most advanced drone warfare system ever created. Only one person could carry it. One child. Mia felt the ground under her shift. I was the key. Yes, but when they realized the war would end and the project might be exposed, they ordered us to terminate everything. Even you. I couldn't let them. I ran, hid you, altered your memory through injected blockers. That's when you were taken by the rescue teams and adopted. They never knew I survived. Why didn't you come find me? Mia whispered. Because the second I did, they'd trace you again. You were safer not knowing. Until today. Mia stood up, trying to breathe, trying to think. Her life had been a lie. All the years of feeling different, of feeling like something was missing. It wasn't in her head. So what now? Commander Hayes finally spoke. Now we're compromised, and if what she's saying is true, then every enemy faction out there is hunting for her again. The woman reached into her pocket and pulled out a data chip. This contains the list of every scientist, officer, and soldier involved in Project Echo, including those who erased the files and killed the other children. Other children, Mia turned sharply. Her mother looked away. You weren't the only one, but you're the last one alive. Silence fell over the group. The wind howled outside the cave. Suddenly, Torres' radio crackled. Static, then A voice, echo, detected. Incoming units, confirmed. Everyone froze. They'd been found. Hayes grabbed his weapon. We have to move, now. There's a tunnel behind that wall, the woman said, pointing. It was our old escape route. Torres grabbed some gear and moved toward it, but Mia didn't move. She was staring at her hand. Something was glowing under the skin. Faint lines of light. It's the biocode, her mother said. It's activating. They're pinging it from somewhere. Can we shut it off? Hayes asked. No, but we can overload it. That might buy us time. Torres was already cracking open the old tunnel. Dust and dirt fell, and a passage opened, dark and narrow. The team moved fast. Mia and her mother went in last. How far does this go? Mia asked. 2 miles. Leads to an old shelter. As they ran, footsteps and gunfire echoed behind them. The enemy was close. Suddenly, a blast shook the tunnel. Part of the ceiling collapsed. Sergeant King screamed as debris pinned his leg. Leave me, he shouted. Go? No. Mia yelled, running back. She used all her strength to lift the rocks with Hayes. Freeing him, they all pushed forward, panting, bleeding. At last, they reached the shelter, rusted, underground bunker hidden beneath an old communications station. Inside were dusty control panels, broken monitors, and empty chairs. It's been shut down for years, her mother said. But there's one thing left that matters. She walked to a sealed cabinet and opened it. Inside was a capsule, no bigger than a hand. What is that? Mia asked. It's a kill switch for you. What? If you're captured, they can extract the code inside you. But if you activate this first, it destroys the biocircuit. They'll get nothing. You want me to carry something that could kill me? It won't kill you, she whispered. But it will erase everything inside you. You'll forget who you are, who I am. Everything. Mia's throat tightened. Why would you give me this? Because I might not be there to protect you next time. Outside, they could hear more movement. Drones buzzing in the air. They're scanning the forest, Hayes said. We have minutes, maybe seconds. Mia looked at the capsule, then at her mother. I don't want to forget. Not again. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. I know, but I'd rather you live free than die a prisoner. Suddenly, the drone buzz grew louder. A voice boomed through speakers outside. Hand over the girl and no one else has to die. Hayes signaled the others to stay low. They don't know our exact location. They will soon, Torres muttered. They always do. Mia clenched her fists. I'm not hiding anymore. I want to know who did this to me. I want answers, and you'll get them, her mother said. There's one last file, one place where everything started. If we reach it, you'll see the truth. Where? Mia asked. Her mother stepped closer. The original Echo facility. Deep in the northern mountains. Still buried underground? That's where I last saw your father. My father. Mia's breath caught. He helped design the code, her mother whispered. He sacrificed himself to get you out. But I never saw his body, and I never found his chip. Hayes interrupted. They've launched flares. We need to go now, or we're boxed in. The team gathered their gear and prepared to move. Mia held the capsule tightly. For the first time in years, she felt something different purpose. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about finding out who she really was. As they disappeared into the forest, Mia glanced back once. Behind her, smoke rose in the sky. Ahead of her, a road no one could predict. She looked at her. Mother, let's go find him. But just as they vanished into the trees, a shadowy figure appeared where they had just stood, picking up a dropped data chip from the dirt. He looked at it, smiled, and whispered, Echo is alive. The air in the bunker was heavy with smoke and tension. After what happened at the underground facility, the team had barely escaped with their lives. Mia was quiet, her hands trembling as she sat in the corner of the transport truck, holding her mother's blood-stained scarf. Captain Rowe kept glancing at the rearview monitor, checking the perimeter. No one said much. There were no congratulations for surviving, no cheers, just a cold silence and questions no one was ready to answer. Ilara, her mother, had given her a capsule before collapsing from the sniper wound. They buried her near the tree line, no markers, just a pile of rocks and a single dog tag to remember her by. Mia hadn't cried. Not when the bullet hit, not when her mother gasped her final breath. But now, alone in the corner, she could feel her throat tighten. Reed sat down next to her. He was the only one who didn't treat her like a threat. I'm sorry, Mia, he said softly. She didn't respond. He placed a hand on her shoulder, but she flinched. I didn't know it would get this far, he whispered. She turned to him, eyes narrowing. What do you mean by that? Before he could answer, the truck suddenly halted. We're here, said Rowe from the front. They had reached a safe house deep in the hills. A forgotten Cold War bunker no longer on any map. For now, this would be their sanctuary. But safety was an illusion. Inside, the group settled. Dr. Kenzo, the medic, checked Mia's vitals. You're stable, he said, looking more confused than relieved. Your immune system is ... unusual. What do you mean? Asked Rowe. She shouldn't be this strong. She was just in a combat zone, lost someone, dehydrated. But her body is adapting like a machine. Mia looked away. She already knew. Her blood wasn't normal. The tattoo was more than a mark. It was an identifier, a brand of a past she had never chosen. She had always felt different. Now she knew why. That night, the team gathered for debriefing. Ro locked the doors. Only 5 of them now. Reed, Dr. Kenzo Diaz, the tech expert, Ro, and Mia. Been compromised, Ro said. We have a traitor in the squad. Mia's heart raced. She looked at each of them. Reed shifted in his chair. Diaz stayed motionless. Kenzo lowered his eyes. How do you know? Diaz asked. Because HQ sent us a false safehouse location. Only people in this room knew the new coordinates, and we were met by snipers. Number 1 spoke. Ro walked up to each of them, slowly, one by one. He stopped in front of Reed. Your files were flagged last week. You logged into restricted archives when you thought no one was watching. Reed stood up. I was trying to protect Mia. I needed to understand what we were protecting. That's not your call, Ro snapped. And whose is it? Reed shot back. You. The same people who tried to erase her mother. Mia stood between them. Stop, both of you. We don't have time for this. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then everything went dark. Diaz cursed under her breath. EMP pulse. Someone's nearby. Ro grabbed his rifle. Secure the perimeter. But before anyone could move, a voice echoed from the hallway speaker. Stand down. We only want the girl. Everyone froze. Mia's breath hitched. How did they find us? Diaz checked her scanner. There's a transmitter on someone in this room. Ro stared around. Search everyone. One by one, they were scanned. Kenzo clean Diaz. Reed-clean.ro pulled out his own device and scanned himself clean. That left Mia. Diaz hesitated, then scanned Mia's back pocket. It beeped. No, Mia whispered. Diaz pulled out a thin black chip. This was planted. But when Mia cried, Ro turned to Reed. You were with her the longest. Reed shook his head. I didn't plant anything. I swear, Mia, you have to believe me. But her face had gone cold. Suddenly, the door exploded inward. Masked men stormed in with military precision. Stun grenades flew across the room. Everyone scattered. Ro fired. Diaz dove for cover. Kenzo tried to pull Mia away, but Reed didn't move. He stood still, staring at the attackers. And then he raised his hands. The attackers lowered their weapons. No, whispered Mia. Reed stepped forward. I told you she was never supposed to survive. Diaz screamed. Reed, what are you doing? He looked back at Mia, guilt on his face. They promised they'd spare you. If I led them to you? You lied, she whispered. I tried to protect you, but you're not just a girl. Mia, you're a trigger. Before anyone could shoot, he pressed a button on his wrist. The entire building shook. Diaz screamed. It's a locator signal. They've locked in missiles. Ro tackled Reed to the ground. Shut it off. Mia ran, dodging fire, reaching the control panel Diaz was working on. Can we jam the signal? Maybe, Diaz yelled. But we have seconds, not minutes. Kenzo dragged Reed's unconscious body out of the blast zone. Ro fired through the hole in the wall, slowing the enemy. Mia stared at the control panel, then at the capsule her mother had given her. Her fingers shook as she opened it. Inside was a small neural chip. She swallowed hard. What if this is the only way to stop them? Mia, don't, Diaz warned. You don't know what that chip does. I know one thing, she said. My mother died trying to keep me away from them. I won't let that be for nothing. Without waiting, she inserted the chip into the main port. A blinding white light erupted from the panel. The system locked. Signals jammed. Weapons dropped. The invaders screamed in confusion, then dashed silence. The room returned to stillness. Diaz whispered, what did you do? Mia's nose was bleeding. Her hands trembled. Her eyes flickered. She turned toward Diaz. The chip didn't just jam them. What did it do? It marked me, she said. I'm officially active now. Ro looked up from where Red lay unconscious. What does that mean? Mia looked straight at him. It means they'll never stop coming. Blackout. The cold light from the ceiling flickered as Mia lay unconscious on the steel floor, blood slowly trickling from her nose. Diaz knelt beside her, hands trembling as she checked for a pulse. It was there but faint and slowing. She's not stable, Diaz whispered. Kenzo rushed over with a med pack. She connected the chip directly to her nervous system. That kind of surge could have fried her brain. Ro stood over them, eyes burning with anger and worry. We need to move. That blast only bought us time. They'll be back. They looked down at Reed's motionless body, tied, bruised, half-conscious. He stirred. Ro grabbed him by the collar. Talk now. What is MIA? Reed coughed, blood staining his lips. You think she's a girl? He muttered. She's not. She's a reset switch. Diaz's heart skipped. Reset for what? Reed grinned, broken and bitter. For the program? For everything. You know why they tattooed her? Because she wasn't made to live a normal life. She was made to erase what the world doesn't want to remember. Ro punched him across the face. Enough riddles. Start talking. Reed spat blood on the floor, then finally whispered, she's part of Echo Experimental, Cognitive Host Operation, a last resort weapon hidden inside an ordinary life. They branded a few with identical codes. Mia's, just one of them. The others, they didn't survive the awakening. Diaz sat back, slowly. You mean, she was programmed to stay asleep? She was never supposed to know. Not about the tattoo, not about her mother, not about her past. But once that chip activated, she's not the same person anymore. Mia stirred. Her hand twitched. Her eyes blinked open slowly only. This time, they were sharper, clearer, colder. Kenzo leaned over. Mia, can you hear me? She sat up, spine perfectly straight. Her voice was soft but unsettlingly calm. Yes, I can hear everything now. Ro and Diaz exchanged looks. Mia looked down at her hands. I see codes and everything. Your body heat. Diaz, your heart rate. Kenzo reads blood pattern on the floor matched to an MI7 kill team. She looked up. They're coming. 12 men, 7 rifles, 3 drones. ATA. 90 seconds. Ro's voice caught. How do you know that? She stood up, no longer trembling. Because I'm online now. Kenzo reached for her wrist. We have to check your vitals. She pulled away gently. There's no time. The jammer I activated will go offline in 2 minutes. After that, the main server will ping my location. Again, Diaz snapped into action. We need to reroute the location signal. I can cloak you temporarily. Ro nodded. Do it, Kenzo. Prep the gear. Mia, what do you need? She closed her eyes for half a second. 1 weapon, 2 flares, and someone to watch Reed. Reed laughed softly. You think you're in control now? You're just another lab rat. You always were. She turned to him, voice flat. Maybe, but this rat just fried the maze. Then the silence broke. Gunshots echoed from the outer corridor. They're here, Diaz shouted. Ro took position. Kenzo shielded Mia. Diaz rushed to the console. 3 soldiers burst through the eastern wall. Mia didn't hesitate. In one clean move. She rolled behind the nearest overturned table, pulled the flare pin with her teeth, and launched it straight into the vent. A blast of heat and smoke blinded the soldiers. She moved like she'd been trained since birth. Because, in a way, she had. She didn't kill. She disarmed. One soldier tried to stab Hershey, caught his wrist midair, and turned it until the bone snapped. Another fired at. Hershey rolled and kicked his knee backward, until he collapsed. Who trained you? Ro shouted, ducking behind a pillar. Mia didn't answer. Her breathing was steady. Her movements impossible. Diaz screamed from behind the server. Signal rerouted. We have 5 minutes before the next lock. Mia ran to the console. Give me access to external drones. Diaz hesitated. Why? Because I'm going to hijack them. Her fingers moved over the keyboard like lightning. Rows of data spilled onto the screen. Drone 1, connected. Drone 2, redirected. Drone 3, hacked. Reed, still tied, whispered in horror. This is exactly what they feared. You becoming aware. You accessing systems. You're not even scared. She turned to him slowly. I'm scared of who I was, not of who I've become. The bunker trembled as the drones outside exploded. Mia had turned them on their own operators. Kenzo gasped. You just wiped out their air support. They underestimated a tattooed girl, she said coldly, but then her voice changed soft, gentler. She turned to Ro. I don't want to be this. I didn't ask to be created this way. Ro walked over to her. You still have a choice, Mia? This machine. It doesn't define you. She blinked, shaking slightly. I can feel the code trying to take over. Emotions fade first, then names, then faces. Diaz whispered. We're losing her. Mia turned to Diaz. Then don't let me forget. If I lose control, shut me down. Diaz's voice broke. No, we'll find a way to reverse this. Reed spoke up again. You can't reverse a born weapon. Mia stared at him, walked slowly toward his chair. You think I'm a weapon? She said quietly. But my mother thought I was a second chance. Reed flinched. She kept me alive, taught me how to hide, gave up everything so I wouldn't become this. But now, maybe being this is the only way to survive. Suddenly, the roof rumbled. A heavier sound more distant. A large vehicle, approaching from above. Diaz ran to the scanner. They've sent the hunter. Ro paled. You mean the AI-controlled assault unit, the one that took down Sector 9? Diaz nodded. And it's tracking her signature. Everyone turned to Mia. She didn't flinch. We'll lure it, she said. We'll use the fake signal Diaz planted. Draw it into the minefield. I'll handle the rest. You'll be killed, Kenzo said. Maybe, she replied. But it'll buy you time to reach the northern exit. Ro stepped forward. You're not doing this alone. Mia gave him a sad smile. You're a good soldier, Captain, but this part only I can do. Then she turned to Diaz. Keep the beacon running. Set the decoy to pulse in 30-second intervals. Diaz wiped a tear and nodded. Mia picked up a combat vest, slipped a blade into her boot, attached the last flare to her shoulder. Then she looked back one last time. I don't come back. Ro stopped her. You will, Diaz added. We believe in you. Mia blinked hard, then turned and disappeared into the dark corridor. Moments later, outside, the sound of metal claws scraping against dirt echoed through the trees. The hunter had arrived, but so had something else. A girl with a tattoo, and a past that refused to die. Blackout. Zitha air was thick with smoke as the sun began to rise behind the distant hills. Mia sat silently in the corner of the military truck, her face bruised, her eyes hollow. They had lost too much: her mother, their safe house, and their trust in each other. Yet the small metallic capsule that now sat tightly in her palm whispered of hope. A map, a place. A forgotten facility where it all began. No one spoke for the first 2 hours of the journey. Even the commander, usually firm and focused, stared out the window with a blank expression. Only the faint hum of the vehicle's engine and the occasional cough from a soldier reminded them they were still moving. Mia finally broke the silence. Why did she have that map? She asked. The commander turned to her slowly. Because she never stopped planning for this day, he said. Your mother knew this fight wasn't over. I thought I was normal, Mia whispered, clutching the capsule. Just a girl who got lucky and was adopted. But I'm not normal, am I? The commander didn't respond. He didn't have to. They reached the outer perimeter of a forest marked as a dead zone on the map. According to the capsule's data, the facility lay beneath the surface, buried and invisible to satellites. I'll go with her, said Nora, one of the few soldiers Mia trusted now. No, Mia replied, surprising even herself. I have to do this alone. The commander hesitated but nodded. You've come this far. But if you're not out in 2 hours, we're coming in after you. Mia nodded, then stepped into the forest. Leaves crunched beneath her boots as she moved through the trees, following the coordinates flashing on the tiny screen she'd connected to the capsule. Every tree felt like it was watching her. Every sound made her flinch, but she kept going. Finally, she reached a clearing. In the center, an old rusted hatch lay flat against the ground, half covered in moss. She wiped it off and found a scanner. With a deep breath, she pressed her hand to the scanner. Beep. The hatch clicked and opened slowly, releasing a burst of cold air and dust. Mia descended into the darkness, using the light from her screen to guide her. Metal stairs creaked under her feet. She reached a narrow hallway lined with flickering lights. Welcome back, Commander Eco 7, a calm robotic voice said, startling her. DNA confirmed. She froze. Commander, she repeated, would you like to initiate memory, restore, sequence, the voice asked. Mia hesitated. Part of her wanted to run, another part needed answers. Yes, she said. A door slid open at the end of the hall. Inside, a chamber lit up. A chair stood in the center with small sensors and a screen. Mia sat down, and the machine gently lowered a visor over her eyes. The moment it touched her skin, a flood of images poured into her mind, blurry at first, then sharper. A woman's voice, you were created to protect, not destroy. A man's voice, she's adapting too quickly. If they find out, they'll come for her. A child's voice, her own screaming, laughing, then crying, then her mother's face much younger stroking her hair. I will never let them use you. Never. Tears rolled down Mia's cheeks. She remembered her first mission at age 5, training simulations where she could disarm soldiers twice her size. A lab full of children like her, all with tattoos. All given names like Echo Phi Delta 1, Nova 2. The scientist who spoke to her most, the man in the video, was not just a trainer. He was her father. Dr. Chiron, Mia whispered, remembering his face. The screen lit up again. A final message. If you're seeing this, I'm either dead or worse. Project Echo was shut down publicly, but it never ended. They shifted to mind control tech. You, Mia, are the only one who can stop it. You have the original code in you. If it activates globally, they'll control millions. Use your instincts, they're still yours. You were never their weapon. You're my daughter. The machine powered down. Mia sat silently, absorbing everything. Her hands trembled, but her mind was clear. She stood and walked deeper into the facility. Rows of empty pods lined the hall, places where children had once slept, trained, suffered. She found a lab room still functional. Files sat undisturbed on the desk. One file was labeled Eco 7, suppression protocol failed. Another screen blinked. Incoming signal, external surveillance request origin, unknown. She tapped into it. The screen showed a man at a conference podium, the Global Defense Summit, broadcast live. The name beneath read General Alder Hay spoke confidently. We have developed a final solution for mass global instability. One code, one control center. No more war. The crowd clapped. But Mia noticed something horrifying. Behind him were world leaders, silent still, all with subtle red glows in their eyes. They've already used it, she whispered. A second screen blinked. Command override option available. Do you wish to engage? She looked around the lab, then at her arm. Her tattoo, it wasn't just a symbol, it was a key dot. She pressed her arm against the override panel. It scanned her. Override enabled. One-time activation. Please proceed to main server. She ran through the facility, breath short, fear rising. A set of blast doors opened to a massive room filled with blinking servers, humming gently. In the center was the core control panel. Mia stood before it, heart racing. What happens if I shut it down? She asked aloud. A final message played. Global systems will lose all command control. Risk of chaos, 89%. Risk of global takeover, 100% if not stopped. Behind her, she heard footsteps. She turned to find Nora standing there, panting. We saw the broadcast. We had to come. Mia's eyes filled with tears. It's already begun. I have to stop it. Nora stepped closer. Then do it. We've got your back. Mia took a deep breath, placed both hands on the panel. Final confirmation. Are you sure? She looked up at the screen. All those faces, leaders, soldiers, Civilians turned into puppets. I'm not a weapon, Mia said. I'm human. She pressed down, the room shook, lights flickered. All over the globe, screens went black, control systems shut down. But the code died, and somewhere, deep in a military vault, alarms blared. Eco 7 is active. Repeat, Eco 7 is active. The war had just begun.